Well, folks, you've been asking for it, and now here it is. Meet the LG 27GL850, the super fast IPS monitor that's not only one of the best gaming displays I've ever used, but one that's actually at a very affordable price. And usually when I say those words, there's some sort of compromise attached on the end of it. But to be honest, not so much with the LG. In fact, I'd go as far to say that if you're after a gaming display that isn't ultra-wide, and you're not interested in one of these super high-end HDR displays, then this is probably the one that you should be buying. And while we're on the topic of buying, something else you probably have to buy is a mobile phone plan. And this video is actually sponsored by Smarty, as they have a crazy new Black Friday SIM-only deal that offers you 100GB of data for only £17 a month. Now Smarty is powered by 3, and this gives you unbelievable coverage throughout the UK, and this limited time offer will give you a rolling 30-day contract without any credit checks, which is perfect if you hate being tied down. To reiterate, you're getting 100GB of data, unlimited calls, unlimited texts, EU roaming, and no year-long contract. Just stop and think for a second what you could do with 100GB of mobile data. Maybe you could stream Tidal in the car everywhere you go, watch Netflix on the train to work, or maybe do some tethering to your laptop if you just want to sort of work as you go, I guess. But if you sign up with my link in the description below, you'll even get one bonus month for free, and if you then use their loyalty program, you can then refer a friend and you'll both get a month for free. So you can check out the Smarty Mega Plan, link down below, but please be quick, as this offer ends on December 3rd. The LG GL850 then. Let's start by talking specs. We're presented with a 27-inch screen that packs a Quad HD 1440p IPS panel running at 144Hz with a standout feature of a 1 millisecond response time. And this is actually huge news, as normally you have to choose between the image quality of an IPS panel, but then put up with a 4 or 5 millisecond figure of response time, or maybe opt for TN with a 1 millisecond response time, but then have to face slightly washed out colours and poor viewing angles. With this monitor then, you can actually have your cake and eat it. But what about, say, G-Sync support? Well, actually, this is present here too. Now to be fair, this isn't actually the full shebang, as it's actually Adaptive Sync that's been certified as G-Sync compatible, but this does have the benefit of bringing the price down, and it means that AMD users will be just as happy as Nvidia's. But don't forget that this also has the added benefit later down the line that it's not going to tie you down to a particular brand of graphics card. And all of these things are items that we've been asking the monitor manufacturers to actually put in their displays for quite a long time now. It's all very well having these super high-end features, but if it's always constantly bumping the price up, I don't know about you, but it's not always that interesting to me. I want to be able to spend a realistic amount of money on a monitor and get one that is much better than maybe a monitor that came out a year ago, 2 years ago. And this is a prime example of that. Design-wise, I really like what LG have done here. And looking at my review sample, there's no RGB lighting like you'll find on some more expensive LG models, but I really do think that this strikes the right balance between gaming and tasteful aesthetics. Now the stand is very quick to fit and it has all of the adjustments that you're going to need for ergonomics, but it is slightly strange that there's no swivel on offer, but to be honest, this isn't really a huge concern. Port selection consists of 2 HDMI sockets and a single DisplayPort 1.4, while controlling the OSD is done with a 4-way selector found underneath the chin, and this makes navigation of the menus very simple, and the menus themselves are actually very well laid out and easy to navigate. And you can even show your frame rate in game so you can check that everything is actually working as intended. And speaking of gaming, this is of course my favourite bit where we talk about gaming performance, and in a word, this is marvellous. It was instantly noticeable, even to a seasoned monitor connoisseur like myself, God I'm lame, just how much smoother Apex Legends looked than usual. Obviously, the 144Hz refresh rate is mostly to thank here, but more specifically this time around, there's seemingly less blur on the screen as you move the mouse around, so it not only feels smoother, but actually looks a fair bit clearer too. Take a look at this slowed down footage of Gears of War 5. Even with the silly motion blur that I forgot to turn off enabled, you can see just how responsive this game is when you're roaming about and doing the old point and shoot. I'd be really interested to see what a die-hard 240Hz esports enthusiast thinks of this, as I really can't think of a monitor that's given me a better feeling of outright connection to the game. When I move my hand, I almost feel as connected to the character as possible, and the feeling of lag is, well, imperceivable. And the colour accuracy and the richness of this panel was also instantly noticeable as soon as I got to the desktop. IPS panels are pretty much always better than TN and often can be better than VA. That sort of is a little bit here and there, but that's a topic for another day. Point being with this one though, it is a clear step up even over some mediocre IPS panels. This is one of the best gaming monitors I've tested for outright image quality before we start talking about the really professional monitors that you'll find with the G-Sync Ultimate badge. The overall package provides you with an immaculate image that's not only sharp enough to make all of your content viewing look its best, but it has a velvety contrast and colour that really does leave the usual gaming monitor compromises firmly in the dust behind. It's not quite perfect, as IPS is still susceptible to the dreaded IPS glow if you sit in a dark room, and while G-Sync compatible does work a treat at reducing stuttering and tearing, it's not quite as good as a fully fitted G-Sync module in my experience, and I have definitely seen a couple of tears come through in Apex Legends. This screen will also take an HDR signal and it will say HDR on the box, but with a mere HDR 400 rating, it's pretty close to a waste of time to be honest, as it's not bright enough and it doesn't have an advanced dimming system that is required for the next generation of HDR gaming experiences. But at this stage I am being very nitpicky, because what I always say with the high-end monitors is that if you're going to use those features, then getting a high-end monitor really can be worth it. But for what everyone does, which is play games, this is what this is designed for, and this is what it does such a good job at doing. For my usage, it's pretty much been playing some Gears of War 5, some Apex Legends, doing some work, editing a little bit of videos, and yes, it's not perfect for everything. If I just wanted a monitor for content creation, obviously this wouldn't be the best option for me, but this is pretty much the monitor for gamers, period. Unless you're wanting something specific, or you're going to be doing something specific on the side alongside your gaming, then I think this monitor excels in pretty much all areas. It is a shame that the HDR isn't where maybe it could be, but that would bump up the price, and then I'd be saying that this monitor is too expensive. Ultimately, it all comes down to whether you want a 16:9 monitor or maybe an ultrawide, because in my opinion, I prefer an ultrawide display as it's more wraparound, it's more immersive. But if I was only really playing 16:9 games anyway, or maybe just games that don't need to fill your whole field of view and you're playing not professionally, but you're playing competitively, then 16:9 may well be better anyway. And at the moment, the only ultrawides that you can get with a 1 millisecond response time, the same as this, is LG's 38-inch one, which I will be testing very soon, but that is around about 3 times the price of this, if not slightly more, so it's not really in the same ballpark. There's very little to complain about. If this is the sort of monitor that you've been looking for, high refresh rate 1440p, I have not come across a better one yet, and it does come highly recommended. If you do want to check out current pricing on this, then you can with my affiliate links linked down below. And don't forget that while you're down there, you can also check out Smarty and their 100GB mega plan for just £17 a month. Smarty is powered by 3 to give you amazing 3 and 4G coverage all across the UK, as well as inclusive EU roaming if you do decide to go abroad. For context, I've actually been using the Smarty SIM in my Pixel 4 for the last week or so, and it really has been excellent. I've had great signal pretty much everywhere I've gone. The speeds have been fantastic. I'll overlay one here. So this really is a plan that you can use pretty much anywhere you go. You could put this in a tablet if you prefer and then just use the data, or you could use it in your phone and tether if you do want to use a laptop. There are so many possibilities. You can check out the Smarty 100GB mega plan for just £17 a month with my link down below, and you even get a bonus month for free. But do be quick, as this offer ends on December the 3rd. A massive thank you for you guys for actually checking out this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I think this one has, as you come to actually see what I was doing. Maybe he's hungry, maybe I should feed him. Do get subscribed if you want to see more monitor reviews just like this. You can find some more videos as well in the end screen. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. It really does help out a lot. You'd be very surprised. And as I say, let me know any thoughts down below. Is this finally the monitor you've been waiting for? Or is something like an ultra-wide still sort of catching your eye? And what you want to go for? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.